Almaty, a city painted with endless shades. This place is like a canvas, a tapestry embroidered with time. Each century adds its own color, some bold and striking, others soft and muted, but together they create a harmonious image. The city is constantly changing. One building is demolished while another rises in its place. Yet some historic structures, masterpieces of architectural design, stand the test of time, enduring as echoes of the past and guardians of the city's memory. The Kyzyl Tan fabric store is one such treasure. It captures attention not only with its architecture, but also with its rich history. Originally established as the central trading house of the city of Verny, it was financed by a wealthy merchant, Iskak Gabdualiyev. Its sign once bore the inscription, built in 1912, architect Andrei Zenkov. Many generations have accepted this as historical fact. However, truth sometimes hides in archives. Renowned local historian Nelia Buketova uncovered entirely different details about the building's history through her exploration of ancient documents and books.
It was a book, an old book by a Hungarian traveler, published in 1901. One of its pages featured a photograph of this very building. However, official documents at the time indicated that the building hadn't yet been constructed. This inconsistency intrigued the researcher, prompting a deeper dive into the archives to uncover the truth. The inquiry yielded successful results. Before long, the identity of the building's original architect was revealed. Paul Gourdey, the chief architect of Verny city at the time. During the research, exact details about the construction timeline were also discovered. It was conclusively proven that the building was constructed in 1896, and its architect was indeed Paul Gourdey.
Thus, historical justice was restored. Today, the building's inscription reads, Trading House of Iskak Gabdualiyev. Built in 1896 according to the design of architect Paul Gourdey. Renovated in 1912 with the involvement of engineer Alexander Zenkov.
The building's initial design was created by the renowned French architect-engineer Paul Gourdey. His portraits depicting both his youth and later years are displayed at the Almaty Museum. He devoted nearly 20 years to architectural work in the city. Later, the distinguished re-engineer, architect and historical figure Andrei Pavlovich Zenkov revitalized and modernized the Kyzyl Tan project. His personal work desk and various tools from his practice are showcased here. Among them is an arithmometer, an essential device for calculations, along with intricate architectural sketches, all of which can be viewed at the Almaty Museum.
Iskak Gabdualiyev, the owner of the Kyzyl Tan trading house, was more than a businessman. He was also a philanthropist. He played a significant role in the spiritual and cultural development of his time. He commissioned the construction of the Tatar mosque and established the Ishakia Madrasa, inspiring younger generations to pursue education and knowledge.
Iskak Gabdullayev was a very wealthy merchant. He owned the firm Gabdullayev and Sons. By the standards of that time, he was a millionaire. He had 4 sons, Gabdulgaliyev, Kudus, Gabdulhak, and another whose name is less known. Together they ran his business. Gabdullayev had warehouses in the Chitasu region and Turkestan.
In 1901, merchant Iskak Gabdualiyev sought to enhance the building's grandeur. He planned to raise the walls, expand the interior, and reconstruct it. However, the city's chief architect, Paul Gourdey, refused to approve the new project. Undeterred, the merchant began construction without permission. This sparked an open conflict between the merchant and the architect, escalating to court. The case proved costly for Gabdualiyev. Fined heavily, the merchant's dream of embellishing the building was postponed for several years.
The situation was this: when Paul Gordey arrived in Verny, he was carrying a heavy burden of debt. As a result, he didn't refuse any job and willingly took on work that could generate income. At that time, he was offered a small design project as an additional financial source, and he accepted. Initially, Gordey and Iskak Gabdullayev agreed on a payment of 1,000 rubles. But Gabdullayev later broke the deal and gave Gordey only 100 rubles. This left Gordey deeply hurt, perceiving it as an act of injustice that he could never forgive. Years later, the conflict re-emerged. Archival records confirm that in 1903 a formal court case took place. Gabdullayev was charged with unauthorized construction conducted without an approved design plan. By then, Paul Gordey had risen to the role of the city's chief architect, granting him the authority to influence the case.
The Kyzyl Tan Textile Store is located on the present-day Zhybek-Zhola Street, formerly known as Targovaya. During the era when the city was called Verny, this was one of its central streets. Even today, following long-standing traditions, it remains one of the city's major thoroughfares, always bustling with people. Commerce continues to thrive, and the historical and cultural buildings lining the street enhance the beauty of Almaty. Under the leadership of Governor-General Kolpakovsky, wood became the primary material for construction in Verny. This shift was a direct response to the catastrophic 1887 earthquake, which left much of the city in ruins, especially its brick structures. Following official orders, homes in various buildings were predominantly made of timber. The Kyzyl Tan Trading House was mainly constructed from Tien Shan spruce with robust wooden beams integrated into its basement walls.
During that period, buildings in the city were predominantly constructed using Tien Shan spruce. This wood is an exceptional material for construction. It retains its durability and natural qualities for decades if properly treated. In fact, it can remain intact indefinitely without decay. Such details may be surprising to many. For instance, the burial chamber of the Golden Man found in the Sikh burial mound was made from Tien Shan spruce. Despite the passage of centuries, the wood hasn't rotted, crumbled or deteriorated. It remains a remarkably strong construction material. In fact, museum staff have remarked on how difficult it was to saw off a small piece for the museum display.
Merchant Iskak Gabdualiyev and his sons established close ties with cities like Moscow, St. Petersburg, Odessa, Istanbul, and Kiev. Initially, the trading house specialized in groceries. Later, it expanded to include textiles, fabrics, souvenirs, perfumes, gold and silver items, essentially resembling a modern hypermarket. It also included storage facilities for leather and raw materials. Interestingly, Din Muhammad Konaev's father, Menli Ahmet Jumabayoglu, worked as an accountant there. Dimash Ahmetoglu writes about this in his memoir Ötte Davrin Oslay. My father, Menli Ahmet, was born in 1886. When he was 14, old enough to be aware of the world and ride a horse, his grandfather placed him under the employment of the renowned Almaty merchant, the Tatar trader Iskak Gabdualiyev. Until the October Revolution, Menli Ahmet worked under Iskak as a hired laborer. Indeed, this place carries the footprints of many destinies, echoes of various historical periods, and the legacy of an entire era.
The trading house at the time offered a wide variety of goods. Sewing machines, samovars, ready-made clothing, umbrellas, shoes, and even beds. Beds, however, were considered a luxury, accessible only to the wealthy. It was a hub for trading large and valuable items. After the revolution, the building was occupied by a firm called Toksin, which engaged in trade with foreign partners during the Soviet era. Later, it transitioned into a general store. Many of us from that era still remember it as Kyzyl Tan, a name it adopted post-revolution. Since then, the store has been known for selling cotton and textiles.
The building covers a total area of 1,450 square meters. Its foundation was constructed with stone and the basement was built from brick. At its center, a spacious dome stands out, captivating attention with its perfectly symmetrical composition. The central and side sections are beautifully decorated with ornamental cornices. The building's architectural style reflects the characteristics of the imperial era. Its bricks were fired in a small workshop in Verny. At the time, most buildings in Almaty were painted yellow and roofed with green tiles.
In 1960, the building underwent major changes. It was fully restored and renovated, resulting in a complete transformation of its interior. For instance, while old photographs show it as a shop, the redesign altered its appearance entirely.
By 1982, restoration work on the building was completed and it became the fabric department of the Tsum department store. On January 26 of that year, Iskak Gabdualiyev's trading house was officially designated as a site of historical and architectural significance under state protection. In 2008, it was transferred to private ownership. Since then, the store has continued to operate as a fabric shop, offering a dazzling variety of textiles and sewing materials, from chintz and muslin to silk, velvet, damask, brocade, and plush. Tragically, in 2009, a massive fire destroyed the building's roof and storage areas. Despite the damage, the historic site was restored once again, preserving its hidden stories from the past. These are truly ancient structures, crafted entirely by hand without the aid of modern machinery. The ornamentation and architectural forms are unique. Historical buildings are what make Almaty truly exceptional. During a brief plein-air session, I focused on capturing the building's primary colors and composition, reserving its placement and layout vertically. I completed the painting within 2 hours. I particularly enjoy painting historical structures. Compared to contemporary buildings, their roofs and ornamental designs have a distinct charm. As an artist, observing these buildings evokes a deep emotional connection. Don't pass this building without taking a moment to appreciate it. Pause and let its history speak to you. Allow your imagination to wander. It may reveal countless stories carried through the centuries. Through its windows, you'll catch glimpses of an Almaty long gone, a city of 1,000 hues. For a painter, this city is a silent masterpiece. It conveys emotions through the heart and listens through the strokes of a brush.